Geeks Worldwide, welcome. Welcome. Why am I getting the stupid echo? Sorry, I'm trying to. I was trying to focus on getting the show started, and my wife made this really random face right before it's telling me. I'm like, what's going?
Oh no, am I losing you? Come in, Captain.
What's that?
I said it was echoing
I'm
really
sorry.
bad. Breaking up.
Froze up for a second. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, same thing. You were all frozen up. That's why I was like, come in, Captain. Can you hear me?
Yes, Captain, we are here. Sorry, geeks. We have a few technical difficulties at the beginning of the show, but I think we're okay. Christina, my wife made a random ass face at me right as I was about to start the show. She like poked her head and was like, "Hi." I'm like, okay. Yeah, you try recovering from that. I don't know. Has such madness ever happened to you?
Oh, of course, all the time. Especially in the middle of, rating or important conversations, that sort of thing.
Yes. Yeah, and apparently you get random animal faces in your room while you're about to record.
Yes, or buttholes. Yes, either one.
Yes. Yes, that's good. Friends, we're excited to be back tonight with all you beautiful geeks of all ages, sizes, shapes, colors, and everything in between. It's just me and the lovely Mrs. Christina Walker. It's uber fan of you, Christina. When I wear this shirt, I'm like, Walker. but I promise there's a reason why I chose this shirt to wear. We're going to be talking a lot about The Walking Dead this evening now that it has returned to television. But before we get to that, my friend, what is new and exciting in your regular everyday world?
Well, still waiting for my $200 box of comic books to arrive, which should be shortly.
Yes.
Still working on the Star Wars room. Still playing lots of video games. Really excited about Animal Crossing, which I know that sounds really silly, but it's going to come out on mobile next month. And all of my friends in Australia are playing it right now, so I'm a little bummed out that I'm not, but that's okay. I can wait.
Animal Crossing.
I love that game so much. I hate myself for loving it, but I do.
I've never played it, actually.
It's so fun.
Like things that I should not play because I'll be addicted to it.
It is a little addicting because you have to like the premise of the game is like you're the only person living in this town full of animals, and you're supposed to kind of keep up the town. And so you have to like plant trees and you got to weed and you got to plant flowers and build houses and stuff. And it seems really silly when you read the description of the game and you start playing and you become extremely addicted. And of course, the animals are super cute. And you can also name them, really obscene things. Like my town was called my anus. So, and the animals will say it. Yes. Like they don't say it like the word, but they'll type it out. And it's,
Welcome
I
to my anus. Bloop, bloop.
Yep. And I'm basically a 12-year-old boy. So,
Awesome. If you're going to be a 12-year-old boy, you have to have the mentality right and name things like bunghole and schlong and, you got to do it
real
right.
Creative. Name some of the characters Titicaca, like.
Oh, that's good. That's excellent. Friend, we are vastly quickly approaching Halloween here. I know a lot of people are going to do celebrating this weekend. To a ultimate final decision on your costume for this year?
I'm legit probably just going to slap on my Jedi costume because everyone knows what that is. And I'm passing out candy and it's going to be cold. So I'm like, I can wear my Jedi robes and keep myself warm. And since everyone in Texas likes to sit on like in front of their garages and pass out candy, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be warm. Okay. We're going to do that.
Yeah. Wait, garage candy. I like that. This is something that
it sounds in California, super legit. Sure. Come into my garage for some candy.
Yes. We have this down the street when we're coming from the freeway. We pass this other apartment complex, and there's always this guy, and he practically like lives out of his garage or something. He's got like and he doesn't care that like everybody can see what's going on in his garage. He's got like this nice setup. I think he has a pool table in there, but he's literally like either always in the garage doing something or sitting right outside of it, like barbecuing on his little like charcoal grill. So we've just come to call him Garage Guy. We're like, yeah, it's Garage Guy.
My neighborhood. I'm like, it's a Texas thing too. Maybe he's from Texas. Like everywhere you go, especially our neighborhood, people have like, it's basically a second living room. And it's not because like you know, they're trying to keep cool. They were doing this when it was like 104 here. And like watching
Yeah.
TV with their couches with the garage door open and like they have like fancy stuff in there too. And I'm so confused. Like these are
Yes.
newer houses. So like the power here is not very expensive. It's just
Yeah.
not. Texas has cheaper power than California. So I'm just scratching my head driving around the neighborhood wondering why everyone is like sweltering in their garages when you could be in your
Yeah.
nice AC
Why,
house.
why is he chilling there? Exactly. Emily and I keep joking, like one of these days it's gonna be like a week that we don't see Garage Guy. We're gonna be like, dude, what happened to Garage Guy? We've just gotten so used to seeing him out there, you know?
Yeah.
Randomness. But anyways, Fred, yes, we mentioned we're gonna talk about The Walking Dead. Uh some friends mentioned they wanted to hear about my experience because I talked about the fact that I got the amazing lucky opportunity to go to the 100th episode premiere, which was I'm still kind of like freaking out. I'm still like it's not all like hit my brain that it really happened, but it did. It's pretty fun. I made the 3.5 hour journey down to Los Angeles and got to the Greek theater pretty early. And I mean, us geeks know how these things work when they tell you can't line up until 2:30, but we already know that there's going to be like a horde of people there already. Nobody,
Oh, yeah.
nobody listens to that shit. So I got there at about noon, and of course, like I swear it never fails. It could be fucking like I'm talking like 50 degrees freezing, and the second I have something going on outside where I have to put on a costume, it's like, oh, it's 100 degrees today, by the way. I'm like, really, dude? So 90s on Sunday, and of course I'm out there as Negan with a leather jacket on and jeans and fully extra clothed, and
They want to make sure you smell nice when you get inside.
you have to smell like the apocalypse. You can't just look like it, you got to smell like it, okay? Um have you been to the Greek theater when you were down south? Have you been there?
It's one of my regrets. A couple of theaters I haven't seen. That was one of them.
So the Greek theater is kind of like near Griffith Park in that kind of
Mm-hmm.
mountainy area, and the way they had the line set up was obviously it started at the gates where they had the metal detectors, and it kind of went back towards the parking lot where we parked, which was another shitstorm. But luckily we kind of like sobbed to the lady and we're like, but that lady over there said we could park. She's like,
Hold on. Parking in LA was a shitstorm?
yes. Yeah, hello. Understatement of the century. She finally was like, all right, just go ahead and park, but don't tell anybody I let you, because I'm not supposed to open this lot till like 3 o'clock. So anyways, we get in there and we park. And so they had the line set up like it went like past the gate, kind of where it curved around towards the parking lot, one of the lots. And then from there, it kind of went up the side of this like hill mountain area. So we were in line like right when it started to go up to the incline, right? So everybody after us was standing in line like literally in the side of a fucking mountain that just wound like higher and higher back and forth, right? And like we're talking like past us, there's like no shade, it's all dirt. Okay. And I'm like, this sucks for all these other people that are like, got here after us. And at about like 2 o'clock, this was already after being there for a couple hours, we start seeing like older people and kind of heavier set people like being like literally carried down by friends, like passing out from the heat. I'm like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is really nice, so so that was kind of like our lead up to it. It was just like, and of course we're standing on this incline, so like my calves were screaming at me the next day because I'm standing like at an angle, and oddly enough, it's like it still kind of blows my mind. I think I saw maybe out of like, I don't know, like 5,000-6,000 people that they invited to this thing, I think I saw one other Negan, only one.
What?
Yeah, I saw a couple of female Negans, saw a couple of gender bent Negans, but there was only one other guy, and I didn't even see him till like at the end of the show. And we were walking out, he was like walking towards the bathroom, and he's a big dude. This guy was probably like 300 pounds and like 6'5", huge guy. Whoa. Hey, there was another Negan. So people were like, oh my god, it's Negan. And of course everybody's asking, where's Lucille? And even though everybody saw the invite that said you can't bring weapons, real or simulated, I'm like, don't fucking ask me where Lucille is. She's in the car, okay? I still brought her. She's had a long day. So that was I think it wasn't, they were supposed to open the doors at like 3 o'clock, 3:30, I want to say. And of course I don't think they actually started moving people until almost 4, which was like
That's
fun.
how
And
it
we,
works. Yeah.
yeah, they're like, we're gonna split you up in 2 lines. You're gonna go this way, and of course they sent us to the shitty line that only had like 1 metal detector, so it took for fucking ever to get in. And we finally get in, which we're like, we're finally in, you know. And right as I'm about to go in the gate, some very officious fellow comes up to me, and he's like, "Hi, my name is Bob. I'm from AMC. You guys look great, by the way. We want you to come over there at 4:45. We're going to be doing interviews with fans and costumers. We'd like you to come over." We're like, "Okay, maybe we'll get to meet somebody cool." And luckily, we had met up with some friends. We had them get seats for us, and kind of save everything, and then we were just kind of hanging out in this little pavilion area. And then, of course, they had like this huge, like, I want to say like 15-foot by like 8-foot banner of that all out war, art that they've been
Super
showing
cool.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this huge banner. And then they had like the 2 entrances painted up to look like the cafeteria doors from the first episode that said, yeah, dead inside or whatever. So
Don't
so
open
that
the
was kind of
inside.
neat. That's the one. And so we got in, and then they had us kind of hanging out in this little secondary red carpet. Of course, like the main red carpet where they had all the media and all the actors, and was all behind like this big giant double door. But they had us this little secondary area, and Iron E. Singleton, who is the gentleman who played T-Dog in the early seasons of The Walking Dead, was doing the he was like the other correspondent for the live pre-show that they were doing on Facebook Live that was like sponsored by Xbox One or whatever. And so I got to meet him, and I got interviewed real quick by him, and I snagged an autograph and some selfies with him, which the guy was super cool. And it was neat because they just kind of had all the really cool cosplay people like ourselves all gathered together and getting interviewed and stuff like that. And I was hoping that they were gonna maybe have like all the celebs come out there, and they never did, because I guess like schedules and things started late or whatever. But Emily, my wife, she went over to kind of go back to our seats, and then she's like, "Babe, you need to come over here," and sends me a picture, and it's Kari Payton, who plays King Ezekiel, and he's like standing in the middle of everybody. I'm like, "What's going on over there?" So I kind of left what I'm doing. I go over there, and there was like this small little area between like the main building that's connected to the stage, and there's a little breezeway, and they were crossing over to get to like a green room where all the press was going and all the talent was going to. And so as they're walking from one area to another, people were like snagging pictures and stuff like that. And you and I, we do these things enough to know how they work. They're like, we start blocking all these aisleways, they're going to clear everybody out, and it's going to suck. We're not going to see anything, right?
Yep.
So I kind of wedged myself into like in between the 2 doorways, so I'm not blocking anything. And I had Emily behind me, and so every time a celeb would come out and walk by, I'm like, "Babe, heads up." So she would just kind of like snap a few pics and then kind of hide back behind me. So we managed to see Melissa McBride. We saw Scott Gimple, one of the writers. We saw Greg Nicotero. We saw Denai Gurira, Michonne. Of course, we saw Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and he kind of high-fived me when he saw me. He's like, "Hey, looking good, man." And I was like, Negan said I was looking good. That's awesome. And then, of course, at the very end, you just knew as soon as like this like massive scream of 1,000 women went off,
Oh yeah.
because here comes Norman Reedus. And I was like, "Oh," and of course, Norman Reedus, he knows what's up. He knows how to cater to his fans. He's like stepping back, and he's taking selfies with people. And I had bought this big like Walking Dead poster book that had all these beautiful like 11 by 14 pictures of season in it. And I was like, "I'm buying this and taking this with me just in case I have an opportunity to get autographs." And so I had this fucking thing ready, Christine. I had my book open. I've got like my Sharpie already uncapped, and I'm ready to go. And he comes walking in front of me. He's facing the other way. I'm like, "Norman, Norman." And he turns around, and he literally like just kind of turns into my stuff. And he's like, "Oh, hey, man," grabs the pen, signs. He's like, "How you doing, man? Having a good time?" "All right." And then takes off. I was like, I think I was like the only person that actually got an autograph as he was walking in that section.
He tries.
Yeah.
He's really good about it. I've seen him at cons doing that too.
Yeah. Super cool. So of course, then we all sat in this big giant auditorium and watched the show, and then had the almost 2-hour episode of The Talking Dead, which you love so much, afterwards, and got to see all the pretty people, and getting to be there was pretty a pretty surreal experience, especially since in a lot of cases I'm a newer fan of the show, so to already have been able to see something at that level was pretty exciting for me. But let's talk about the show, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. And I want to add, by the way, that I wouldn't mind Talking Dead if Chris Hardwick wasn't the one announcing it. He annoys the shit out of me.
Yes. What is it exactly that annoys you about him? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know what it is entirely. I mean, there's some personal reasons why.
Okay, right.
Not directed at me, but like friends that I know that dated him or, you know, interacted with him. You know, stuff like him saying that geeks aren't really geeks if they were born before 1982, that kind of stuff. Okay. But there's something about like his humor that I don't find funny. Like he reminds me of like dudes you meet in bars that kind of hit on you and you're like, okay, I'm gonna
the
like
ones that try to be funny and they're not.
Yeah, and I felt bad because I kind of liked him at first, and then the more I started listening to him, I'm like, something about you bothers me.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm a little miffed because I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, and I'm like, why am I not hosting this? But exactly. Yeah, but I watched the 2-hour episode because I love all the actors, and I was trying to see if I could find you in the audience. Yes. Yeah. But let's talk about the show.
Yeah. Oh, besides that, I was surprised and pretty delighted to see Leanna Vamp was the one that was for that live feed. I was like, that's Leanna. I know her.
She's a sweetheart.
That's awesome. Yeah, so rad. But yeah, Fred, your initial thoughts on episode 100 of The Walking Dead.
It was really great. What a lot of people don't realize who haven't read the comics is that it's actually following it pretty closely, considering the fact that there's a few characters that are alive that aren't in the comics anymore, and vice versa. Daryl's not even in the comics. Yeah. Thought it started off really strong. Mm-hmm. I'm very curious to find out whose grave Rick is standing over. I have some theories. Of course, I'm narrowing it down by characters that I know do die during All Out War. But I don't think any of them would bring the very emotional draw that he is having over this grave. And also, to everyone who's complaining about Negan not dying in this episode, he should have shot him. If you paid attention, the reason they didn't shoot them right away was because Rick wanted to give the Saviors who wanted to leave or join them or whatever a chance to go. Right. So, and also, it would just make for a boring episode if they killed him right away. But I thought it was really well done. The dialogue was great. I love that they added the "Do you have your shittin' pants on?" because that's such a Negan line, and it made me really happy. Yes. Yeah, and I have to also add that every time I see Judith, I get really ragey because she's not alive in the comics. She dies with Lori in the comics. Okay. And so every time I see her, I'm like, want to flip a table. I'm so angry that child is still alive.
Why the fuck are you still alive?
Yep. Like at all once, I'm like, really? Sophia's still alive. Judith is dead. What the hell? Okay. Yeah. So it bothers me that this child is alive. Because it's one of the catalysts for Rick's character is when Lori, it's not just Lori dying, it's also Judith dying. And it reminds me of that every time I see her. And I'm just like, why is this fucking... It would be so annoying to carry this child around during the apocalypse also. Like, why would you still have her? Or why would she still be alive? But I digress.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
It was obviously a huge change from the first episode of last season. And company were there, and they were very much not in control of what's going on. To Rick and company actually taking the fight to Negan and the Saviors, which I thought was just a really cool thing to be able to see. I mean, because being as much as I love Negan, I love the good guys. I'm a good guy at heart always, and first and foremost. So it was hard seeing all the shit Rick and everybody went through under Negan, and the whole just the oppressive nature of the whole season, and then him finally snapping out of it after all the shit that wanted, and now he's being like, fuck this, we're bringing this shit to him. And it was nice to see Rick very much in control now, and giving Negan a little bit of a scare, man. I mean, I'm sure he thought he was about to die at some point, hiding behind that little half full dumpster there.
I think he's a little proud of Rick too, to be honest. I think it gave him a little bit of a Negan boner. I honestly do. It did. And also, I forgot to point out too that when Jesus says we follow Maggie, I was so happy and proud. And because Maggie is probably my second favorite character forever in Walking Dead, in both the show and the comics. Right. And they're keeping her character true, and it makes me so happy to see her become a fucking badass.
Yeah.
So that
Oh
made
yeah.
me really happy.
Yeah. Everybody lost their shit at the at the Greek when they said that line. It was just like everybody's just like cheered and pretty much started standing up. It was pretty good.
Fuck you, Gregory.
Yes, that ass. Yes,
Such a dick.
we still love you, Xander Berkeley. That guy's really funny.
The actor,
Yeah,
not
that
your.
was yes, the actor. But yeah, just we talked about this a little bit on the last episode and how there was a lot of parallels to the first episode, especially the scene with Carl, and he's walking through the gas station with the gas can, and pulls up the van next to the overturned semi truck, and there's actually you can see it. We'll tweet it later, but comicbook.com had an actual side by side comparison with both episodes running, and it's like,
It's exactly
I mean, it's
frame for
exactly the
frame.
same. Yeah. What was really cool that I found out in the last couple of days was the one of the first walkers he encounters, the little girl. In this episode, it's actually the same girl that played her, only now she's 17 instead of like 10. So I thought that was kind of mind blowing that they had the same walker, and I'm sure
That is cool.
those eagle-eyed people who notice all those cool little things were like, it looks just like the original. Yeah, it actually was, and it's funny. One of the articles I was reading said that they actually had to film her separately from Andrew Lincoln because he's been, and they didn't want him to know that it was her. And there was actually a couple other casts, like I think Nick Cotero maybe didn't even know that it was her. They just brought her in and let's do this. So
That's
hell, I would do
cool.
it. Yeah, very very cool stuff. The I'm interested to hear your theories about whose graves Rick is standing over, because there's definitely we're definitely running some timelines in the first episode. Of course, we have the old man Rick, which we're thinking is maybe, I don't know, just a dream or a hope for the future. We have the big preparing for the war. We have the war starting at the sanctuary. Then we've got some other Rick scenes where he's crying under a stained glass window. A lot of different timelines going on. I don't necessarily know where it all plays out in the current story, where we're at with everything, but I definitely want to at least to start off hear your thoughts about who you think.
Well, like I said before, it's kind of difficult to narrow it down. My biggest
Yeah.
fear is that it's Daryl. He's
Okay.
not in the comics at all.
Yeah.
And in the show, he is one of my favorites. I think he was a fantastic addition.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad they've kept him because he really adds something very special to the story. And whoever this character is probably going to have to be a big one. I feel like as the comics go on, usually every so many issues or so many episodes, you lose somebody really important. That also kind of drives the rest of the characters. There's a reason for all of these deaths. They're not just superfluous. They don't just happen because I felt like it or for shock value. There's a reason for it. Glenn dying is the catalyst for Maggie becoming fucking amazing. And you'll see more of that later. Trust me, she's awesome. So I was thinking either Daryl, it could be Morgan. Morgan is long dead in the comics. Again, another great addition. I'm so glad they've kept him in the show. One of my hopes, and this sounds so mean, please don't get angry at me, is that it's fucking Judith. I don't think he's upset enough for it to be Judith. So I don't think it's Judith.
Right. Yes.
So it's probably one of them. The rest of the characters, if they stay true to the comics, are going to be relatively safe. I'm not going to spoil anything. There is definitely a couple that do die, but I won't tell you who.
Okay.
And they'll probably stick to it because you can kind of already see it happening in the show.
Right.
If you pay attention, you can kind of see the foreshadowing here and there. It might be Gabriel, but he lives further in the comics, so I'm not really sure. But my feeling is it has to be somebody important enough, like Daryl or Morgan, for it to give him that much of an impact.
Yeah, definitely. The scenes with Old Man Rick, as everybody's calling him, do you feel like that they're actually showing us some stuff from the future, or you think it's more of a daydream for Rick?
So it could be a daydream, depending on how the show wants to go. It's not really a spoiler, I guess, but like the way the comics go, by the end of All Out War, it does jump to the future.
Okay.
So it jumps about, oh gosh, I want to say at least 5 years. It might be more than that. I'm a little fuzzy. I need to go back and read it, actually. Sure. But Carl's much older, which he almost is that age now in the show because he's been growing up with the show. Yeah. And so Rick is older, and he does have a cane. And so the way that they did Old Man Rick is almost exactly how Rick looks now in the comics.
Okay.
So for me, that's what I was like, ooh, what are they doing? And then the wheels started turning. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay. I don't know if they're going to jump ahead like they did in the comics, or maybe they're just going to do the whole daydream thing and still stay kind of how they are. But that was definitely a nod to the comics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I dug in a little too deep and got some spoilers from the comics because I've never read the comics like you have. So
I need to send them to you so you can read them.
yeah, so I kind of got some some juicy tidbits as to why he possibly has the cane and kind of what things are possibly happening there. So yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. I know that's been a popular question as to if they're gonna do the whole timeline jump in the show. To be okay with it if it follows suit to the comic books. I mean, they've done, like you said, a pretty good job of kind of staying true in a lot of aspects and not so much in some other ones. But I mean, I think if it's been successful enough in the books, why not do it in the show? You know,
there would be a lot of weird filler if they didn't, and they wouldn't even have to jump that far ahead because Chandler Riggs he's around the same age that he is in the comics right now. So they could just do it maybe like, I don't know, like 4-year jump or something, and not quite as far as it did in the comics. And I think it would work. But yeah, I think they almost have to, unless they want to invent a whole new story arc, which is fine. I just, yeah, we'll see. I'm very curious to see how they're going to do that. But I liked the huge old man Rick Kane nod to what's happening in the comics right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any from this current storyline in the comics that we haven't seen yet and you're hoping that they show soon in the show?
That's hard to answer because I'm terrified if I say anything, I'll spoil it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely some stuff. They haven't really missed anything that sticks out in my mind. The one thing that I think I mentioned last time that they've done a huge justice with is, I know that, they ruined Andrea in the show, my God, but they've combined everything that's awesome about her and split it. So they split it in between Michonne, which Michonne is pretty much taking over Andrea's role, but still maintains Michonne's character, which is really cool. The whole bell tower thing and everything that happens with her, it happened to Andrea. And they're giving a little bit of Carol Andrea stuff too. So I like that they're at least trying to keep some of that story arc true, because it's really great. And Michonne's story arc in the comics is kind of I like this better. I think they're going to probably do the story arc with Michonne to Carol because that would work. Yeah, we'll see. After I'll get through a few episodes and then ask me that again.
Got it. Okay. The what was your we'll say favorite action sequence of this episode?
There were a lot though.
Much.
honestly, probably the beginning when they're all when they're all gathering up and you see Sheba jump out of the trailer and then I got all nervous because I know things that are gonna happen. So I'm like, oh God, is it gonna happen in this episode? Oh, I don't know if I'm ready yet. Right. And just seeing all of the characters bond and like that big heroic moment was really really cool.
Yeah. It seems like it's rare, especially now that we get that many of the principal cast together on the screen at once. So it's always like really fun and exciting when you get them all. And, of course, I enjoyed the hell out of seeing, Daryl being Daryl and blowing shit up with the handgun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was cool too. Yeah. Duh explosions.
Motorbikes. Zombies blown up. Yeah. All that good stuff.
How can I forget that scene?
I know. Side note, if you want to see Negan's perspective of that whole scene where he was pinned down by the gunfire, they're doing a lot more of these little VR like 360 view things on Facebook, and there's actually one from Negan's point of view that shows him how he gets away from all the walkers and actually makes it into that building he ended up. Kind of neat seeing besides the times that we've, obviously the beginning of last season where he's bashing people's heads in, we don't really see Negan like full on fighting a horde of walkers. So it was kind of cool to see that aspect and kind of how he fights and his fighting style, which,
he is not a wuss.
Yes, no, not at all. So you could probably find that on the Walking Dead Facebook page if you want to check that out. It's pretty cool.
It's on there, and they also have the Rick's Red Machete story too. That finishes on there,
which I haven't gotten to watch yet, but
Me either. I watch it.
Yeah, they talked about it at the premiere, so I'm like, oh, I forgot about it, but
They showed some of it. I don't know,
interesting.
did they show some of it at the premiere? Because they showed it during the commercial breaks when I was watching
We
the
didn't get it.
show.
I'm like, what the fuck? Why are we getting this?
They didn't finish it because the whole idea is that you go onto the website and finish it yourself. But it's fantastically done. I
Right.
love those little. They did it for Fear of the Walking Dead too. They had like little mini stories they'd put in the commercial breaks.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go check it out about it. But yeah, friend, I'm you know what I find interesting, and I mean, I guess not terribly shocking because I know I know I've talked to certain people who are fans of the show in the beginning and are like, I don't really watch it anymore. And with like every show, you get some people that drop off and don't like where the show is going or how it's being written or whatever. As awesome and big as this episode was, and of course is the 100th episode, this is this premiere was at being low for any other season. I think it premiered to 11.4 million viewers in comparison to last year, which was about 16.4. But that being said, it's still the highest rated show on Sunday next to NFL. I don't think we have to worry that it's going to go anywhere. Yeah, a few people dropped off, but I mean, what do you think is causing that?
I think a lot of it has to do with the whole streaming mentality. I know I do it. Like Outlander comes out every Sunday, but I usually watch it on Mondays because that's like my husband doesn't really want to watch it with me, and that's fine. That's understandable. So like I watch it on Mondays. But there's certain shows that I do. I wait a couple of days to watch because either it just doesn't fit my timeline or Brian doesn't want to watch it with me or whatever. Right. So that's kind of unfortunate that they still use ratings to judge shows because it's a little bit unfair. A lot of people, like I said, will watch it later.
Yeah.
Especially on a Sunday night when it's kind of late, or they forgot. They forgot the premiere was that night. I mean, you're like, oh shit, I forgot Walking Dead was. I gotta make sure I watch it, so they'll watch it on Monday.
I think I completely agree with you about the fact that we still use such an archaic like rating system to judge successfulness of shows. I mean, if you throw out The Walking Dead at anything, you're gonna have a shit ton of people go nuts about it. I mean, the conventions still pack a crap ton of people in them. I mean, you see any Walking Dead celebrity convention and they have a line a mile long for autographs and photo ops. So I don't all that is anywhere near a reflection of how still popular and mainstream and loved that show is. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I hope.
And I think there might be some people that don't want to watch it anymore. I mean, last season was, that was. Well, and the death of Lyndon Abraham was extremely brutal, and that was hard to relive, by the way, because I read issue 100, which is what that happened. Right. So reliving that sucked. So I get what people would have been like, okay, that might have been too much for me, and I get it. But it's like, I promise you, unless the show does something surprising, for me personally, there was nothing ever that was that shockingly graphic and terrible. So like, it's going to be graphic because there's zombies and you're killing stuff, but like, so you should give it a chance. Like, don't let the one thing in there. There's a reason why it happened. It wasn't there for shock value, I promise. Absolutely. Maybe a little bit, but there's a reason for it. So keep watching it.
Yes, it's so good. Let's get, especially this. We're already. I feel like it's already off to an amazing start, and I can't wait to see where this season is going to go, my friend.
I'm excited. It's going to be a good season. All Out War is one of my favorite chunks of Walking Dead comics. So,
yeah, cool. I value your opinion vastly in the world of The Walking Dead, so I'm extra excited. We'll continue because I don't have a lot of TV talk, but along the lines of TV shows that we watch on our small tubes, what's coming out tomorrow, my friend?
Wait,
or maybe tonight at midnight.
Oh, Stranger Things. Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Oh yeah,
too.
Dude, I'm so excited for Stranger Things.
God, my heavens! We were talking about how it's cool, but it's also a bummer that our spouses want to watch it too because we can't watch it without them tomorrow or tonight.
The first thing I'm gonna want to do when I get up in the morning is like, I want to watch Stranger Things, and I can't.
What's happening?
I'll have to wait till he gets home tomorrow night, which is okay.
Yes.
But oh god, yeah, I can't wait to watch it.
And then when Emily gets home, I have a Halloween party to go to, so I'm not even gonna be able to watch it tomorrow. Probably gonna wait till Saturday. I know.
Well, Saturday, you guys bro, I'm not gonna watch it.
Yes. So I'm gonna call my friend and be like, yeah, I'm not coming to your party. I gotta watch Stranger Things too. Sorry, bro. Yes, he's like, you can stream that. I don't care. I gotta watch it now. Yes, but super excited. I have a friend who actually has not seen a single episode of it, and she was like, "Should I get on the bandwagon and watch?" I'm like, "No, it's not a
Yeah.
it's not a bandwagon thing." I said the show is fucking an amazingly written piece of like suspenseful nostalgia. I said if you
Oh
like
yeah.
Goonies and stuff from the 1980s, you're gonna love it. The characters are great. The story's great. It's just so fun. It's got all the right levels of, that like fun mixed in with some horror and suspense and sci-fi and all that good stuff. So
Oh yeah,
if
it's
if you're one of
fantastic.
those, yeah, if you're one of those people who actually hasn't watched Stranger Things, catch up on it and watch season 2 because you're not going to be disappointed. I loved it from,
Like if you're
I mean,
worried
from the
if
first like 10 minutes.
and if you're worried that you're not going to like it because you're not a fan of horror or like
Yeah,
scary stuff, neither is my husband, and he actually liked it. So,
yeah.
like there's a couple parts that are really suspenseful and scary because it definitely got me.
Hmm.
As I watched it by myself at first, and it got me jumping and yelping a couple
Yeah.
times. But it's really really good, and it's definitely worth the. That's my dog. Sorry, playing the squeaker toy.
Yeah. I
Uh,
was like,
Bottom line is, watch Stranger Things. Do it.
yeah,
It's good.
so good. Well, we'll definitely at least have to talk about the first couple of episodes on our next show, which will be our Halloween show, which is exciting. So next week you're just throwing this out there now that I'm thinking about it. Next week we're going to be filming live on Monday when we will be joined by our very own resident master of scary storytelling, Mr. Scott Larson from the Visitations comic. And Scott always comes up with some really awesome, we'll say partly factually based, historically based, scary stories to tell us. And I always look forward to having
Yes.
him on. The times that we had him on the Capes Crew podcast, and I'm like, why the hell would I not want to bring him over to this show? He messaged me. He's like, hey, I got some more new stories to tell you guys. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it, man. So in order to
Scary.
accommodate to get Mr. Larson on before Halloween, since Tuesday's Halloween, I don't want to, young people will be taking trick or treating. So we'll be hitting that up on Monday. So we'll be talking all kinds of scary stuff on Monday, Christina, with
Yes.
Scott and Stranger Things too. It's good
Spoopy.
stuff.
It's gonna be the spoopiest episode ever.
Spoopy. I had a friend go like, "Ooh, I'm stealing that word. I've never heard that. What do you mean? What do you mean
Spoopy
you've
and
never heard?"
creepy.
Yes. Other streaming Netflix shows that we were talking about tonight. The Punisher. We of course now have a release date, which is November 17th. So man, that's only a couple more weeks. You're gonna get Stranger Things and like within less than a month. It's pretty exciting. I know we
Yep.
can handle all this good television, but there was some people I guess were concerned because to have a panel at New York Comic Con, which was this month, right? Yeah, it was this month. And of course, it was right around the time that the tragedy happened in Las Vegas, and the powers that be felt that it would be respect to those families, and so they did cancel the panel at New York Comic Con. And some people were wondering, well, are they going to change the show? And recently, I can never pronounce his name. Jeff Loeb. You know what I'm talking about? The guy over at
The
Marvel.
booby.
Loeb. Mr. Jeff Loeb from Marvel Television has decided has spoken at a couple of different interviews and said that the show has not been changed because especially since the show is not predominantly about gun violence and in fact shows you the problems that occur in that world. So I guess we can say that the changes were strictly immediately just to the panel at New York Comic Con. What do you? There's been a lot of talk, obviously, with the recent tragedies and more and more rage and outcry this week, especially because LA Comic Con is coming up this weekend about people, having, I guess, not a good attitude towards the weapons policies that a lot of conventions are implementing now. Um, it's for safety issue. I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
I can also understand why some people might not be happy about it. Good example. But like I told you when I was talking about the Walking Dead, like how many fucking people did I get asking me where Lucille was? I'm like, it's
They
fucking
still,
annoying. You
but
guys
here's the
know I
thing.
couldn't bring it in.
And they still knew you were Negan. That's the thing too. My biggest
Right,
issue with
right,
people that are complaining about the weapons ban is
right.
one, I'm a cosplayer.
Mm-hmm.
About I think all but one or two of my costumes have a weapon, and I think they're almost all
Yeah,
guns. Um,
right,
and my first thought was like, oh, that would suck because like, how are they gonna know who I am? I'm like, wait, if they can't figure out what character I am because of the weapon I'm carrying,
right.
maybe I shouldn't do that costume. And I was like, no, they totally would. If like they're nerdy, they're gonna know. And then I'm like, it would suck because like poses would have to be different because it's so easy to pose the weapon. And I'm like, I'll just figure
Yeah,
out. I'm
true.
creative. I'll figure out a different pose. I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
you have to keep in mind that like, let's say there is an active shooter situation at a convention. Say that
Right.
happens, and there's
Mm-hmm.
first responders coming in there, or maybe even good Samaritans that are trying to stop it. If you're wandering around with a fake
Sure.
weapon,
Yeah.
even if like you
You're
drop it or
burning
whatever, I mean,
yourself.
like that's still you could get shot yourself, or it could just cause more
Yeah.
problems than help. And
Right.
also the other thing, the positive end of it, where I was like, I wouldn't have to carry that shit around. My arms wouldn't be as
Yeah.
tired. But I mean, you got to
Mm-hmm.
think of it. I know people are saying it's a false sense of safety, but it's really not. There's a
Mm-hmm.
reason why they're doing it. I trust
Yeah.
it. It sucks. Yeah, I get it. Like I said, almost all my costumes have weapons. Um, but you have to, the people ruin it for everybody else. You have to just go with it or don't go to the con. But if you're only going to a con to show off
Right.
your weapons of your costume, you're going to cons for wrong reasons.
Yeah.
There's artist alleys,
Yeah.
you're supporting the people that
Sure.
are there at the con. So think about that.
I to be perfectly honest, and I'm not amongst the camp that's gonna whine and scream because I can't take Mike. I think the thing that makes me go, okay, maybe I don't really understand it is when they're going like, we're completely banning everything. You can't bring lightsabers that we know are
Yeah.
fake. You can't bring like big blue orbs because that could be a weapon. I'm like,
I think there's been
I
a there's
feel
been
like
an
it's going to be a
issue.
bit extreme,
I mean, yeah, sometimes there, especially for a lightsaber, especially if you don't have the blade on it.
Yeah.
At Star Wars Celebration,
Yeah.
I think it was like the second day in, they started zip tying the lightsabers to like to your
Right.
costume. For me, they couldn't because I
I
was
remember
too
hearing about that. Yeah.
short, and so I
Yeah.
pretended that mine was a cane. And they're like, as long as you're not waving it around,
Yeah.
it's fine. Just don't tell anybody.
Yep.
Like, just it's cool. Um, I mean, there are some realistic expectations and some logic,
Mm-hmm.
and I can get what people, like I said, are upset. Yeah, it's frustrating. I was pretty pissed that day that I
Yeah.
couldn't walk around freely with my lightsaber. But you know what? I could
Right.
go outside the convention center and get pictures with it. Um, and you
Mm-hmm.
got to think, I've whacked kids on accident with my lightsaber before. I have,
We've
like,
all done it.
and I
We've all
keep them
done it.
close to me when I'm walking around. I keep them pretty close, and I hold the hilt up here, and I have this usually the
Yeah.
blade straight down. But if I like put it in my arm, I've smacked a couple kids in the face, and that's another thing.
Yeah.
It's safety issue. It's things that people don't think about. It's not just about gun safety. It's about
Yeah.
not hurting people. And conventions are getting more and more crowded.
It's
So
true. It's very true. I agree, friend. I think like you said, I think unfortunately it's just a sign of the times and things are changing all around in every facet of just everyday life, and we kind of have to adapt to that in order for to be as safe as we can. We might not get it. It might not be the optimum thing that we want, but I would rather be safe and not die.
yeah,
I'd rather be safe and my friends not die. So
yep.
yeah. So I get it. I respect it, and I know that convention people are having a big responsibility to deal with now, and maybe being the bad guy, but for a good reason. So
Yeah. I mean, we have. I know that the whole carrying concealed, someone could still get in with a gun. Well, I mean, yeah, unless we have metal detectors at every single doorway and entrance, and even then, someone could still probably get in. But you got to
right.
mix it up somewhere, and they think that this is a good idea. So, okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, friends. Well, either way, when you go to a convention, have fun, enjoy yourself with or without your props, hang out with your friends, go see panels, buy geeky shit. That's
Your
what
hands
conventions
will
are all
be
about.
free now. Think about the freedom.
Yes. God, man, when I'm carrying Lucille around for like 2 hours, my hands like death claw after 2 hours of
Dude,
the
yeah,
weight.
my Thor hammer, which is a child's toy. It looks
Yeah.
great in pictures, but
Yes.
it is a crappy child's toy that weighs, I don't even think it weighs like it's ounces.
Yeah.
Makes my arm sore because I put my arm up and hold in pictures. Like
Yep.
my arm will hurt so bad the next day, and I'm like, it wouldn't
Yes.
be so bad to not have pain the next day from carrying the shit around.
Start like getting that sore spot in my palm, and I'm like, why is my? Oh yeah, that's right. I was carrying a bat for 4 hours yesterday. It's cool. Yeah, but moving on from television to movie talk, we'll start out by dropping the box office numbers for last weekend. Laughing about it. Number one was Tyler Perry's Boo 2, a Medea Halloween. Took number one, apparently. Don't know why.
Wow.
Followed by another craptastic entry of Dean Devlin into the Earth disaster movie series, Geostorm.
Oh God.
Number two. Happy Death Day, which of course is a good old horror movie, which I would love to have time to go see before it's out. It took number 3, followed by Blade Runner 2049, and rounding out the top 5 was Only the Brave, which is the firefighting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which looks amazing. Definitely want to see that. I'll probably wait till that one hits home video. I don't feel like you have to see that in the theater, but whatever. Let's talk some movies, friends. Apparently we got our first on-set photo of Mr. Tom Hardy, who will be playing the title role in the upcoming Sony Pictures Venom movie. Kind of an anticlimactic photo. It's just him laughing against the counter with some other dudes. I don't know what they're doing. I was hoping we saw some suitness going on somewhere. But I think they've talked about that a lot of his character is going to be CGI. What are you thinking about this, friend? Would you like to have seen maybe a more practical effect? I know you're not yeah.
I mean, I love Spider-Man, I love Venom, and I love Carnage. I just feel like the only reason this movie is being made is because Sony doesn't know how to fucking take their clutches off of Marvel. And it's frustrating. Yes. I mean, they're going to say Sony and Fox are both going to do whatever they can to hold on to whatever they can. I get it. Right. However, with that said, I think Tom Hardy is a goddamn good choice. I think he's going to do a good job. I would love to see a mixture of practical and CG, which in my personal opinion, especially in this day and age, that's the best, is you somehow mix the two. And you can see that in Iron Man now. They've done that a lot. And with Vision, actually. They do all that makeup on Paul Bettany's face, but they just enhance it, and it looks great. I love that they do that. Yeah. But I'm worried that Sony's probably just going to like all CG. It's like what they're doing with Cyborg and Justice League, and I'm afraid it's going to look stupid. But hopefully not. Well, I think I'll give it a chance.
I have to tell this really funny story along the lines of Spider-Man and Venom, and of course, the last time we saw Venom was in the gem of a movie known as Spider-Man 3.
I try to forget about that movie. Yeah.
And my friend apparently was on a date with a guy at his house, and he's like, "Hey, want to watch a movie?" And he puts on Spider-Man 3. She's like, "Nope, I'm done."
Good response.
That's the right.
I've been like, that's like if you had put Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull on, I'd be like, never call me again.
And that's your go-to indie movie? No.
Never call me again.
Keep looking.
Bye.
Swipe left or right or however that app works. Just bye.
Bye.
Good, funny, perfect tie-in to the Venom thing. Also on the Marvel movie front, apparently in the very early stages, and we're talking about a script is being written for an X-23 spinoff, and we've talked about how kids in movies nowadays are stealing the show. I mean, huge fan of the X-Men Fox movies, but it was a great. I cannot think of the actress's name, and I should. Daphne Keane was a fucking amazing addition to Logan. I mean, she stole the show in a lot of scenes, and I would kind of be interested to see an X-23 movie. I'm sure by the time they got it filmed, if it goes through and they make it happen, she'd be a little bit older, and hopefully they'd be smart enough to bring her back to play the character. And I think it would be a really interesting way to, I guess we'll say, pass the torch, so to speak, with the Wolverine story in a way, to see her in the role of that character. What do you think about that, being that you're such a fan of the Fox X-Men movies?
Logan I actually liked. And a lot of it had to do with Patrick Stewart and with the young lady that played Laura. She was amazing. I was really skeptical about this movie because Old Man Logan is one of my favorite Marvel comic series. And I also really love Laura /X-23.
Yeah.
And so I was gritting my teeth, decided to watch it, and you know what? It was actually quite good. And I think that if like we were talking earlier that if they keep the same director, they keep the same spirit that they had in Logan,
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be fine. And I would love to see more X-23 magic happen because she's
Mm-hmm.
that kid's fantastic.
Hell yeah.
So even
Just
though I'm annoyed
just
with Fox and I want them to let go of Marvel and just let Marvel have the X-Men back, damn it. Yes, it'll be fine. I can accept this movie as long as they don't fuck it
oh,
up, which
good.
they don't have a good history. So
Yes.
fingers crossed.
Yeah, very like we said, very early stages. So hopefully, we'll in the near future we'll hear some more news about whether this is going to actually happen. But
Yeah,
I'm excited to see that. Rounding up our Marvel movie news, some very exciting news that I am super excited about. Back up until 2014, one of the things that we always got to look forward to, along with a credit scene in the Marvel movies, especially when they hit Blu-ray, was the Marvel one shot, which was these beautiful little, like, well written little tiny Marvel movies that expanded the overall universe. Maybe had some of your, we'll call them side characters like Coulson and Agent Carter before she got her own show. And it kind of just like, was the little like gap filler, for the Marvel universe. And, sadly around 2014, they stopped doing them. But some buzzes going around that the Marvel one shots will be returning soon, hopefully. Yes, I know Tom Holland had mentioned that he would love to do a Spider-Man short film with Ant-Man and do a bug team up, which I think is
oh my god,
an
yes,
amazing. Yeah, I mean, Tom Holland and fucking Paul Rudd would be just comedic
yes.
Marvel gold. I mean, yes, that a friend. Are you surprised that they did away with the one shots, and are you excited that they might bring them back?
I was sad that they stopped doing them because they were kind of like my little highlight. I loved them so much.
Yeah.
And they were so rewatchable too, because they were short. You could like go back and just like, I feel like I'm
Yes.
getting a Marvel fix today. So I'm excited they're gonna do
Yeah.
it again. And especially because of I know it's gonna get serious when they get to Infinity War, but like the kind of like lighthearted upturn it's going. So like Ragnarok looks awesome and like
Right.
upbeat and funny. And that's what these kind of brought too. You look a little bit of like joy into the universe.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm excited they're going to do. If the rumor is true, I'm excited that they will do them again, especially if they do an Ant-Man and Spider-Man one. That would be awesome.
God, it'd be perfect, man. They need to write that right now. But apparently, the gentleman who wrote most of the Marvel one shots has said he's already got like another 10 or 12 written already, just waiting to be made. So
Yes,
I'm anxious to see what else he's cooked up.
make all of them, please.
Yes. I guess originally they kind of did it in response to the whole short thing that Pixar does before all their movies.
Mm-hmm. I love those too. Love them.
Beautiful stuff. I mean, there's been several of those where I'm already like in tears before the actual movie even starts.
I'm like, God damn it, Pixar!
God, why did you do this to me? I'm not crying. You're crying. but yeah,
Pixar's good at that.
Yeah, but the fact that there's a lot of people do a lot of streaming now, and I guess obviously in the last several years sales with like actual physical copies of movies like Blu-rays has definitely gone down because of that. So they feel like maybe that kind of really affected the whole one shot program. But I mean, I throw whether or not they sell a bunch of Blu-rays or not. Let's get with it, people. Let's make some more one shots.
It's a little bit cheaper to buy stuff digitally, but not by a lot. So if people are buying stuff, they're still making money, and they make the majority of their money from movie ticket sales anyway to begin with.
Yeah, I'm still like one of those purists. Like when it comes to movies and comics, I still have to have a physical copy.
Comics for sure.
I like tangible things in my hand, and when it comes to movies, I like overpriced steelbook copies of movies.
My perspective changed a little bit only when I became an army wife, because now it's like this is just more shit for me to have to haul around when we move. But and also me being impatient, I'm like I wanted to watch Wonder Woman now, so I just downloaded it on Amazon. And I mean I paid for it, obviously, because I got it from Amazon. But but books and comics I won't bend on. Those have to actually be physical copies. I love the smell and the feel. Like I just
And the art, you want that artwork,
Yeah.
man. It's like,
And the letter hacks in the back. I mean, you still get them in the digital ones usually, but there's something magical about holding a book or a comic in your hands.
I agree, my friend. Switching gears to Camp DC. Very soon, of course, yeah, I know your favorite. Just even sticking her tongue at me. Now she's smiling. The obviously the big juggernaut film that the DC fans are waiting for is Justice League, which is going to be coming out very soon. And early predictions are pegging it to hit about 110 to 120 million for opening weekend. That seems like a fucking lot of dough for all the shit we've heard go on and transpire behind the scenes of the Justice League movie.
It might.
It's like, yeah.
I mean, people are really
It
excited
could,
about Wonder Woman specifically. I mean, which is kind of sad that it's hinging on that, but that's none of my business.
It is. I think if it hits those numbers, it's going to be because of her and how successful her movie was.
Yep.
Let's be honest about it.
Yep.
It's not. I mean, it definitely ain't for the craptastic shit they put out in the Superman world.
It's not good. I mean, and also, have you seen Cyborg and Flash on the posters? It's again, I will do the quote of "It's some real Party City shit." It doesn't look good. It looks
real
bad.
Party City shit.
Flash TV show costume is way better.
Yes. Love the Flash on TV, man. But yeah, I'm with you. They're saying, but although right now they're tracking Thor Ragnarok at about 125 million, which seems more feasible to me.
Yeah, well,
because I'm a Marvel fan, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't. It surprises me that they're doing it that high, only because I always feel like Thor isn't as popular as he is because I got beat up for liking Thor when I was a little kid.
Right.
But then I realized I'm like, no, man, that trailer looks rad as shit. Like,
yeah,
it looks like a wild ride. It looks like it's gonna be fun, and hell is amazing, and they know how to do trailers, man. I would definitely want to go see it.
Yes. Does Kate Blanchett ever age? She's so dreamy.
She's a magical creature. I don't know. I want to be her when I grow up, and then I want to be Helen Mirren after that.
Yeah. Okay, hey, I'm down. I dig it. Also from Camp DC, I don't think we've talked about this specifically. There was a lot of talk about it in the past when the screen testing shot showed up, but Deathstroke, and Deathstroke's a cool character.
Yeah.
But I guess more recently, Joe Manganiello, who'll be playing the title character of Slade Wilson / Deathstroke, was seen wearing a Legion of Doom shirt in a tweet that he had tweeted, and and so of course send all the fanboys and girls and their friends. You're like, ooh, does that mean there's going to be the Legion of Doom somewhere? Oh my god, Legion of Doom, yes. They haven't confirmed or denied. With the Justice League, it would kind of make sense that they might set up a Legion of Doom because you got that many heroes kicking ass and taking names. There's going to be a group of bad guys who are going to get pissed and be like, you know what, we should join together too. So
it makes sense.
So it's possible that he be dropping in the works or not. We don't know. But Deathstroke, I like the actor friend. I like Joe Manganiello. Obviously, a lot of ladies think he's dreamy and nice to look at. he's a cool actor. If you saw he's hilarious in the Pee Wee Herman movie that hit Netflix last year, I want to say.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It's funny. It's funny. You should check it out. But you got the Magic Mike man, playing one of the deadliest assassins in the DC world. I think it'll be pretty cool. The little that I know about the characters from the Flareoverse, and I definitely like the different dimensions and layers of that character, and he's not just a bad guy. There's a lot more to him, so I will be interested to see how they bring him into the DC movie universe. How you feeling about that? I know your feelings on the DC movies.
I mean, it's news to me. I like the actor a lot. I think I'm not like all gaga over him, but I think he's a good actor. Yes, he's attractive, but I'm not like I save that for Poe Dameron. I don't know. I think that they're gonna definitely have to do the Legion of Doom, and they're gonna have to bring in more interesting bad guys into the DC universe. And I think Deathstroke is a fantastic choice.
Yeah,
So I mean, we'll see. And if they make a movie solely based on
You
that
know
might be
my
kind of cool.
issues though.
What?
You know, I just cannot get over the nightmare that I've already pictured in my brain of seeing dudes like fucking Bizarro and Black Manta, and then fucking Mr. Facebook. Just, the eyes as like that's going for me. Bald head, I was just gonna kill it for me. It's like on Vix and put a leader of a Fortune 500 company in the middle of it, and it's not gonna work for me. I'm sorry, but
I mean,
yeah,
most of DC right now does not work for me, so that's fair description, at least from my perspective.
yes, this is where we play the sound that goes wah wah wah. Yes,
And here's the thing is I don't want to shit all over it. I want them to make me
yeah,
like it. I really do. Because that was like one of my first comics ever was Superman and Batman. Like I really
me
want
too,
to
friend.
love it, but you're making it really hard
It
to
makes
like
me
you.
sad every time there's another Superman movie and it sucks balls. Like I'm like, really? Like I
And
just
hey, you
really
picked the right actor. I think he's a fantastic choice for actor. I just think you wrote the script terribly and directed it terribly.
yeah.
So, and with hey, keep up what you're doing with Wonder Woman. You're gonna slowly win me back as long as you keep doing good work. But so far, you've got one good thing.
Well, and I should have looked this up and talked about it more in detail, but I want to say I remember seeing something about now that Zack Snyder's kind of out of the picture, they've actually kind of said like, well, his vision of the DC universe wasn't our vision. I can agree with that.
Why didn't the producers take control? Oh my god! See, that's the thing too. Is like
Yeah,
take control. Then I get like, and I like Zack Snyder for some of his work. I just if you're looking at the product and it's not what your vision
yes,
was, you're the fucking producer. That's your job
right, right,
is to fix it. Do what
right.
Kathleen Kennedy is doing is like, well, then you're fired.
Yeah, sorry, you're not doing things the way we see it. Bye.
Yep.
Because guess what? You can find a lot of other people I'm sure who will happily do it. Vision to be able to be behind some giant movie like that. I'm sure.
Yep.
A lot of people.
Also
Yep.
hire
All
more
right,
women.
friend. Yes, please, 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 please. More Patty Jenkinses and killer, amazing movies.
Yep.
Because, friend, what you got for Wide World of Geek this week?
Just catching up on some television shows. Getting through Black Sails is a challenge. It's I love season one, and then like we're halfway through season two, and I hate everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about any of the characters at all, and they're all terrible. So I'm gonna finish it, but it's gonna be a struggle. Still playing Destiny, trying to work on my alt characters, but I really like my hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, just still gearing up for Halloween. Forgot to buy candy, so don't need to go do that.
Dang, Gina.
Oh, I did find my old Lord of the Rings trading cards and got really
Ooh,
excited about it. I forgot that I have the
nice.
entire first series all in foil because I was a state champion
Yeah.
in that trading card game.
Oh, smack. Smackaroonies.
Yeah. So it was kind of fun going through them and then remembering that I used to be able to write in Elvish fluently and now I can't. So I'm looking at all the stuff that I wrote, like it's actual like letters and letters and stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck does this mean? I don't remember anymore.
You're awesome, friend. It's so cool. Yeah. I don't much. I mean, the premiere took up all my brain space for the last 2 weeks. So
I mean, that was a cool,
was a
awesome
little bit,
deal.
yeah, it was. I haven't even posted a picture of it. McFarlane, and it's funny because you just tagged me on another cool McFarlane piece from The Walking Dead, based off the comic books. I've been collecting the years based off of, and of course, just recently they finally came out with Negan, which I love. I'm kind of into collecting like the 1/6 scale, like 12-inch figures right now. I've kind of stopped collecting a lot of the smaller stuff. So, and the thing I really like about the Walking Dead ones are kind of easy on the pocketbook because they've only released 5 of them at this
Mhm.
point. So I don't have to spend like every 2 months to go get another one. I think I'm only missing one. I'm missing Glenn. But I skipped Glenn and got Negan. I got all that they were releasing. Yeah. So yeah. More of like the some people call them staction figures. They're like action figures, but more statues. They don't have a lot of articulation. They're meant more to be held in one pose, and you just kind of set them up on a display shelf somewhere. The Negan one I liked a lot. My only complaint is the angle, because he's doing the whole like kind of batter up pose. His head's kind of looking down too much. Like I wish they'd brought him up so you can actually see his face a little bit better. Some of the figures in that line, they've done two versions. They do the regular version, and they do a more bloody version, I guess we'll say. The one I have of Rick is the variant version. They called it the Vigilante edition, and he's the one that's all bloody, and he comes with his red machete or his pistol that you can switch out the hand. And I guess I just saw that they're doing a variant version of Negan, to where they still gave him this weird like hunched over pose, but he's doing the thing where he's like pointing the bat straight forward instead of holding it behind his head.
Oh, I actually like that better. Personally,
yeah, I might get that one too. Just have them both. But yeah, friend, pretty soon I'm gonna have this upgrade my Walking Dead memorabilia corner to a whole wall, because now I've got some more autographs that I need to put up, and some statues, and wifey doesn't like the scary stuff in the living room, so I'm gonna have to bring it to the office. But yeah, I think that was pretty much all I did. That was Kiki, friend. We'll have to reconvene next week to tell scary stories and talk about Stranger Things too.
So excited. Yes.
I know, my friend. My friend, would you like to take us out with your final thought tonight?
Well, as usual, everybody be excellent to one another, and don't be so upset about silly rules at conventions. Go and have fun. Don't let it ruin your time. You're there to support all the artists and everybody else is there, not just to show off your costume, which is also cool.
Yes.
Just if that's the only reason you're going to a con, maybe save your money and don't go. But just be nice to each other. Look out for one another. Stick up for one another. All that good stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Friend, Twitter, your Twitter, what is it?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at booba_fet83. And that's boba, but with boobs.
Yeah, that's right. Friends, for my final thought this week, since Christina already talked about the policies at the cons, I will say this weekend, since a lot of you are going to be going out and partying it up for Halloween, two things. Send us pics of your costumes. We want to see what beautiful, amazing, geeky things you'll be donning for those Halloween get-togethers this weekend. And also, please remember, don't drink and drive. It's not worth it. There's Uber, there's Lyft, there's friends.
Yeah.
Call them up. Don't kill somebody to go party on Halloween, okay? Because we love all your faces, and we love the other people who are not drinking. Okay? So have a lot of fun. Please keep checking us out on thegww.com for all the latest and greatest in the world of geek. You can find us on Twitter at _geek_side pod, where we're always tweeting about all kinds of randomness that we find every single day in the world of geek. Please keep tweeting us your love, your questions, your concerns. If you want to hear us talk about something on our show, please give us a shout out. We'd love to hear from you people. We like to know that you're still listening to us rant about craziness, okay? We love y'all people. We hope you have a great time this weekend if you're going out partying for Halloween. And as always, we'll catch you on the geek side.